Yeah. So now that we have anyway forayed into the defense part of it, I want to bring up the Defense Space Agency that was established in, I think, 2018 or 19 by the government of India. So how does the DSA collaborate with, say, maybe ISRO or other armed forces, and how do they come up with uh, not policies but any initiatives for the space security? How does the DSA function with these institutions?
Okay, yes, indeed. The DSA was established in 2019 under the Integrated Defense Staff headquarters. And it was one of the three agencies to have come out. The other two agencies were Defense Cyber Agency, as well. The third was Armed Forces Special Operations Division. DSA's charge was given to the Indian Air Force. Cyber Agency was given to Indian Navy. Special Ops Division was given to the Indian Army.
Yeah.
So I won't say these are custodians, but these are kind of all these three new bodies are right now nucleating under the three forces because these are early years for them.
Right.
But that's not the case, or that's not the beginning, or that's not the genesis of ISRO's interaction with defense. There
Okay.
used to be something known as the Integrated Space Cell earlier than the Defense Space Agency, which was a specialized unit created for synergies between ISRO and MOD's requirements. So that is how your Cartosats, your early RESAT satellites, your radar satellites, your high resolution imagery satellites had come up. And the Indian Armed Forces were directly in control of what was built by ISRO for them. And they were operating day in and day out.
Yeah.
But with the establishment of Defense Space Agency, it is one notch higher. So earlier, it was just a cell. So from a cell, it has become an agency. From an agency, hereafter, it may become a command, or it may become a full-fledged force.
Okay.
But that jump needs a lot of manpower. It needs a lot of training. It needs a lot of other paraphernalia, technological paraphernalia.
Right.
So it would happen eventually, and slowly and steadily, ISRO and Defense Space Agency would not need to talk to each other unless necessary, because as DSA grows, as DSA's work portfolio grows, it will start building things on its own.
Right.
It will start procuring things from the private space ecosystem entirely without the need for ISRO.
Right. So it will no longer remain an agency.
It will
that's only overseeing the functions, but it will be the executor of
it. And that's why I say today that in India, we have a three-pronged space program. Earlier, it was a space program that was largely dominated by ISRO. But today, you have a civilian space program run by ISRO, which is doing a lot of high-tech science and technology development, as well as missions. Then you have the defense space program under DSA, and subsequently Defense Space Command or Defense Space Force.
Yeah.
Indian Space Force. Interesting names. And then you have a commercial space program which talks to both.
Right.
The commercial space program talks independently to ISRO, independently to the DSA and that chain of command. And that's it. That's it. You have three players now interacting with each other. It's a three-body problem now.
So hopefully there will be no collisions on the surface.
Yeah, it won't. Because what has happened is the Prime Minister's office has very beautifully crafted agendas for each of them.
Right.
Yeah. So they are sitting tightly into their own niches, and they have been given targets, and their plates are full, their calendars, their diaries are full.
Yeah.
They're happy. So they won't collide with each other, but yes, you have three big bodies, and every big body has a gravity of its own.
Right.
So I hope so. The gravity is aligned with each other, rather cancel each other.
True. interesting times ahead, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So now we spoke about the Indian's Defense Space Agency and Indian scenario. There is also the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. That is, I think, that still governs the space law across countries. Uh, how relevant do you think is the Outer Space Treaty today in today's context, especially for India? And does it need any reflection, rethinking in terms of modern space threats and its current realities, or it's fine as it is right now, or it is not of much relevance today? Uh, where does it stand?
Yeah, I have too many people who I talk to on a day-to-day basis. Some of them are for it, some of them are not for it. Some of them want to keep it or uphold it as far as possible. I am of the third category that till the time it works well, it works well. But
Yeah.
there'll be a day, there'll be a certain event someday where everybody will come to one common consensus that, okay, there needs to be an amendment to the Outer Space Treaty. So that one fine day or whatever event that happens on that one fine day shouldn't come as a surprise, is what I feel.
Yeah.
The test of a good country or a good government is that it can preempt surprises. If it gets startled and surprised very often, then there's something wrong with their intelligence gathering mechanism.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, I would believe that yes, Outer Space Treaty at this point of time, it works well. The fundamentals are perfect, but these fundamentals are enshrined in an era where you didn't have an Indian space program. Indian
Oh,
space program, although it began in 1962, the space agency began in 1969.
right.
So, and a lot has flown, a lot of water has flown after 1969 in outer space.
Right.
So, keeping that in mind, uh, we are on the cusp of getting that surprise.
Okay.
So for that reason, there needs to be, comprehensive effort in contemplating what would be the next amended articles within the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. So there could be a treaty number 2, which could be a continuation of the current one.
Right.
So it need not be discarded completely, but yes, there are a lot of efforts are needed to amend it, make additions to it, and there have been efforts. There have been efforts in the form of something known as PAROS, which is Prevention of Arms Race in Outer Space.
Okay.
Then there have been many code of conducts tabled by Russia, by United States, by China, by Europe, where all of them have come up with points that have been superficially in the larger interest, but deep down, all the opposing parties. So, just like in a parliament where you have the eyes and the nose, here also you have the eyes and the nose. And given the fact that the two astropolitical blocks or the geopolitical blocks do not see eye to eye, they differ from each other. They haven't been able to come up with common consensus on making those amendments. So even in the history of the United Nations, if I were to, you know, just talk about the most successful treaties of all, there are only two treaties that have been successful since 1950s. One is the Outer Space Treaty, and the other one is something known as the Montreal Protocol, in which the world decided to curb the emissions of chlorofluorocarbons,
Okay.
and we did.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there have been so many tabled propositions, codes of conduct, and potential laws which have not worked at all.
Right. Right.
So, does it need revision? If that is your question, it
Yeah.
does. Uh, how does it help India's space security? It does help. It does not allow anybody to keep weapons in outer space. It does not allow anybody to keep weapons of mass destruction in outer space. But when we began this interaction, we spoke about cyber weapons.
Right.
Is it a weapon of mass destruction? No. Is it a weapon of mass disruption? Yes.
Yes.
So there you go. There you go.
And clearly that treaty would, as it stands today, would not have cyber
not have.
security aspect of it. So
Exactly.
these are the updations.
These are the updates that are needed.
Absolutely. Now, just because we got back to the mass disruptions, the weapons of mass disruptions and that area, we spoke about ASAT, anti-satellite weapons, and you suggested that they are useful in the lower orbit of the Earth and stuff like that. But India, as you mentioned, India did the 2019 ASAT test, and it sent an international message, a broader message. And what do you think was the message, and what is the significance of such tests, and how does India plan to? Because we discussed that ASAT won't be used much because of the cost-benefit factor. So how does India plan to build on its deterrence capabilities if we keep ASAT aside?
See, even if ASAT becomes a very expensive proposition, it still is a deterrence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's point number one. Point number two is when we built that weapon, and if I were to be very politically correct, I would say that this wasn't a message for all. It wasn't an act which is threatening anyone. But if I want to be politically incorrect, I would say it was a message for all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have it. We have all the building blocks of it. We have the capability to assemble. We have the capability to target in case of war. But the point is, when you target anything in outer space, it has a cascade effect. I'm not talking just about space debris, but I'm also talking about cascade effect in terms of geopolitics.
Yeah.
So what if I'm targeting a satellite of a particular country, and then there is a satellite of another country which is just in the vicinity? If that too gets damaged, that's a cascade effect.
Right.
Yeah. So it's that collision cascade leads to a lot of other complexities.
Yeah.
Where it would also damage your relations with that particular country, which was not your target at all.
Right.
So that's the reason why I said that there is a need for greater precision, and when it comes to attacking, cyber weapons, they give you that precision. You just have to render that satellite useless. Why do you want to destroy it?
Yeah.
You just fry the electronics, just meddle with the data flows. That's
Yeah.
it. It's a useless piece of junk lying there.
Correct.
So that's the reason why I said, and I said that in a big forum as well, where I was heard by all the important people that, look, you've done it pretty late.
Yeah.
It will be useful. It's not that it's not useful, but you've done it pretty late. That's a fact.
Right.
That's a
Right.
fact.
So, since you said it was done pretty late, and so what are the repercussions of being late in the race? Maybe we are not even participating in the race, but ultimately it is a game of who has which capabilities. And I don't think it is too wrong to say that wars today are fought in the space through satellites as much as they are fought on ground. So how does that work? If you are late to the race, what is the point?
So we are not just late here. We are late in many aspects.
Okay.
Okay. We lost a lot of time in between. We lost a lot of decades in between. to slow economic growth, to slow dispersal of social welfare to the masses. We lot of we lost a lot of time because of a lot of colonial vestiges and the geopolitical meddling that happens through these vestigial tails and organs that the colonizers left within India. And if you look at it from an efficiency standpoint, since efficiency is the key word these days, with
Yeah.
with Elon Musk being in charge of that efficiency, at least in the United States.
Yeah.
If you take that into consideration, yes, we lost a lot of time. And even in the case of ASAT test, uh, all the military thinkers and the doers within the military research, they've always claimed that India always had the building blocks of an ASAT missile uh, as late as 2012. We had a missile ready back then, but it needed political decision making. It needed that gumption. And not just gumption, it needed somebody who would take the decision, do the test, and yet assuage and alleviate a lot of acrimony that comes towards you after a test.
Yeah.
So just rewind your memory, go back to 2019, and just look at the reactions, international reactions that came after ASAT. They
Right.
were subdued. A lot of reactions were subdued. The Americans were so uh, there was a very subdued reaction from Department of Defense, but there was some strong reactions coming from Department of State. Uh, China again had a subdued reaction. The French had a very mild reaction. Europeans had a very mild reaction. The only country that reacted strongly was Pakistan, which is inconsequential in this case.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So,
that's
so had we had a good leadership back in 2012, it would have taken the decision, it would have done the test, and it would have also prevented all the strong reactions coming in.
yeah.
So the test is followed by a battle of narratives. We won the battle of narratives.
Correct. Right.
And our scientists helped in doing that. So when the ASAT test was done, when the target was exploded, the exploded target and the fragments of it came into the Earth's atmosphere nicely without creating a large uh, field of fragments.
Right.
So we didn't damage much. And
And
it was predetermined that we are not going to damage any other satellite. So we are going to prevent it.
right.
So that precision, that accuracy of targeting something that is itself moving a few thousand kilometers per hour at, at really high Mach speeds,
Right.
it shows that, okay, you're there. You're there. You have the capability, you have the technological know-how. So that was the significance of India's ASAT test. There is a geopolitical significance to it. There is a messaging to it all. I won't say that there's messaging to only few and everybody else should
Just yeah. Ignore.
just ignore it. It's not that. Even a small country, let's say like a Palau, let's say like Solomon Islands, all of them and the media in these countries took notice that India did something. So the message was for all.
Right.
Now, there are some countries who would be at awe with you. There are some countries who would shrug. There's some countries who would criticize behind your backs. There's some countries who would face you and criticize you on your face.
Yeah.
There's some countries who would pat you, hey pal, you've done well.
Yeah.
And there's some countries who would react not immediately, but maybe later on.
Correct.
So that ASAT test was a signal for all.
Correct. So we have essentially come to the point of diplomacy, and I think I know where this is going, but when it comes to space diplomacy, Do you think India should say align with the like-minded nations, or is it should push to form a new global norm when it comes to space security? Knowing how this government works, it does not align with anybody. It forms its own directions when it comes to navigating with even fighting countries. So when it comes to space security, how do you see the space diplomacy from India's side shaping?
So at this point in time, what I find is our commercial space ecosystem, for the want of contracts, for the want of business, is much aligned to the West than to the Sino-Russian bloc.
Right.
They're much aligned to Western Europe than they are to Eastern Europe. They would work rather with an Australia than they would work, let's say, with any country in Africa. Perhaps that needs to change. But that is the commercial space sector. Okay. When it comes to the Indian space program, which is run through the Prime Minister's office, we do not have any alignment. So just before the Chandrayaan-3 landing, Indian ambassador to the United States, he signed the Artemis Accords, which is a loose, non-binding document led by the United States, where like-minded countries of the United States have come together under the US umbrella to go to the moon, to go to Mars, financially, technologically, and talent-wise pool the resources, join hands, go together, and achieve a certain technological and economic targets. That is number one. Then you have Chandrayaan-3, and immediately a few days after Chandrayaan-3 successful landing, we had seen the Prime Minister very happily talking about Chandrayaan-3 in the BRICS forum.
Yeah.
And where the Prime Minister himself said that, look, BRICS countries should come together to form something known as the Space Exploration Consortium.
Right.
Now, there is no United States in the BRICS forum.
Yeah. Correct.
So here within India, if there is somebody who wants to work closely with the United States, hey, you're free. There is a mechanism there which we are part of. It might not be a mechanism that we've created. You can plug yourself there.
Right.
So there are many entities who have chosen to plug themselves there. And then you have Prime Minister talking about the BRICS forum, where he's the thought leader of it.
Yeah.
He has professed the idea. And there, if not many, there are a few entities who would be interested in that. Now, why are our space companies so aligned with the West? Because for a very long time, they feared sanctions.
Achha.
But today, after the tariff battles that have been unleashed, there is no fear of sanction anymore.
Yeah.
The world is yours. So rather, to all the listeners or whosoever hears me out through your podcast, I would say that let there be no fear of sanctions anymore.
Right.
At least have the overtures of talking to the other side. Because your ability to talk to both the sides gives you that strategic autonomy, which you've so much cherished.
Correct.
So if you cherish it, then you shouldn't be shying away to talk to anyone.
Right.
Or do business. So that is how diplomacy works. You have to talk to all sides. You have to work with all sides. You have to ensure that there is enough critical mass of activities that prevents unnecessary differences or conflicts.
Yeah.
You stay below the threshold of a full-blown conflict, and you ensure people-to-people contact. At the end of the day, if we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family, then you have to talk to all members of the family.
Right.
You can't be shying away, or you can't be saying that, look, I won't talk to you because the other one doesn't like it.
Yeah.
The other one will sanction me if I talk to you. It shouldn't be that.
Correct. Makes sense. And now to the final question. Uh, how does a space security policy for India look like? Do you think it is on cards? If yes, what should the top priorities for India should be like? Should be, and how should that policy take shape?
So if it is a space security policy, it will involve all the three prongs of the space program.
Yeah.
If it is a space security strategy or a doctrine, then it will largely involve the Ministry of Defense and the PMO, of course, or the Cabinet Committee on Security. And together, they would form that doctrine. Now, to come back to your question, do we need a space security policy? Yes, we do. We need a policy, we need a strategy, we need a doctrine, all three of them. And we need certain tactical protocols. So we need a lot of wargaming. You need to also understand that if the current situation, if it prevails for a very long time, the situation of trade wars, the situation of tariffs, then India will have to ensure that it does not get severely affected by the high tariff rates.
Right.
So onshoring, friendshoring of supply chains is something that is a must. Ensuring that you build a lot of technologies, components, you build a lot of electronics within the country so that you're not heavily dependent on somebody else. You create multiple options for yourselves rather than depending on one particular country or one particular channel of trade. And that is something that we need to focus on. That the era of depending on one big policeman is gone. The world is truly multipolar. You are one pole of it. You have to ensure that none of the other poles become acrimonious with you.
Yeah.
You need to be on good terms with all these poles. And if somebody wants to be really adventurous, then you need to have the ability to deter that adventurism.
Absolutely.
And for that very reason, you need a policy, you need a strategy, you need a doctrine, you need resilient supply chains, you need a large secured manufacturing base, you need a talent pool, you need good universities, you need good think tanks, you need good uh, uh, people in the businesses, people in the finance side of things. It takes a whole village.
True.
So for us to become a big space power, it will take a whole village. It will take people of all kinds. It will consume a lot of attention of a lot of people from various faculties and not just space engineers and scientists.
True. Uh, thank you so much, Dr. Giri. This was absolutely fascinating. And thank you for breaking down such a complex topic. Space security is, it is rocket science, literally. So, uh, thanks for helping us.
I thought you would thank me on being on time.
Eh,
It's sharp 5 o'clock.
oh, yes, that's also there. But yes, thank you so much for helping us understand why space is not just about science, it's also about sovereignty, security, strategy. Uh, if you have any one message for our listeners about space security, space policy, you can give that message.
So the message is don't just be fascinated by the sector. Whatever field you may be working in, perhaps your vocation, your profession might be of some help to this particular sector. So try exploring opportunities of collaborations, if not jobs. And that is how any space program or any scientific program in any country works. towards making that country a real superpower. So from being superpowers, from making India a superpower in our own minds, let's make India a real superpower at this point in time, because that is a need, unabashedly, without any shame, without any guilt, without any hesitation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much once again. And for to our listeners, if you would like to explore more of SPRF's policy research, do log on to sprf.in, and that's where you'll find all fresh insights into various policy matters in the country and outside of the country. Thank you so much.